Hey guys, welcome on back to the AnKorage where everything is awesome. And yep, just like the thumbnail says, this is yet another video regarding the Hasbro HasLab Plasma Series Ghostbusters Ghost Trap itself. And this is going to be a mod. Not just one mod, but two mods. Very easy to do and not overly involved. Well, kind of sort of on this on one part of it, but one is I'm going to show you how it looks and how it currently behaves and how we're actually going to fix that. Now, is it actually a manufacturer error? No, it's really kind of sort of not. But as far as authenticity and how it should operate, it's wrong. And I'm going to fix that. So why don't we do that today on Buster Quest. Okay. Welcome on back, and here is the Ghost Trap as we can see it right here. I've got my look down. It's kind of funny how I have to set this up. I use my tripod, and what I do is I put down one leg all the way down. I've got the other two up here on the table so I can get the straight down. And of course, you know, I've got my studio lights over in those directions, and you know, it's like, but even still, with those going on, I don't have separate tripods for those. And so with that, you know, and we've got, you know, you can see the shadow. I've got more light coming in from outside than anything, and I don't have any tripods or anything that I can put those lights onto. I know I've got one extra one around, which I could do, but either way. Here's the trap right here. So, ta-da. And I've been going around. I've been trying to keep an eye out for mods for the trap and the PKE. There's only one mod for the PKE meter that I want, and that is the one that corrects the wings, because they're almost as thick as wide as my thumb, and you know, I want them more like my pinky. So I'm waiting for a mod where those wings are corrected and are thinner, more along the lines of the actual prop. But, you know, that's neither here nor there right now. I'm not overly concerned with it. It's only been about a month since I've had this. And, yeah, actually I got it a month ago, what, today? Yesterday? I forget which. What is the date today? It's the 18th, so it's been a month and a day since I've received it. Okay. So, here we go. So, I'm going to turn it this way and move it right to there so that, let's see, where are we at? Of course, that is dead center. So, here we go. So, one of the problems that I've seen is regarding this bar graph. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, then I'm going to turn the volume down all the way. And get that down, just so that we don't hear the Slimer. So as you can see, the animation is going from right to left. So, and as far as authenticity goes in relation to Ghostbusters 1, this happens to be wrong, because it's supposed to be going from left to right. And, you know, in my overall review video, I was talking about how this is wrong, and if I wanted to change it, I'd probably have to switch out the PCB. That means that's, you know, it's a perforated circuit board. You know, it's what all the circuits go on to. All of your chips, all of your diodes, all of your resistors, capacitors, transistors, etc. ICs and everything like that. You know, these are LEDs, so light emitting diodes. And on this unit, this bar graph, as far as the PCB goes, the construction of it, it's really good because we've got a nice sequential, you know, going from right to left there. It's nice and sequential, so there's many separate LEDs in there. Whereas in the neutrino wand, you've got 2 groups of 3, I believe it is, and they're garbage. So, of course, decides to time out. So, I'll just do that to get that running again. So, now, as you can see right now, that's kind of bright and kind of washed out. I'm going to cover that with my fingers just so that you don't have that going on. So you can see it's going from right to left, and that's wrong. And it's very much, it's what Hasbro did with this is they've got a diffusion lens on these to kind of make it look cool. And they do a good job. I'll give them that. They do a good job, but it's not good enough. It's not authentic enough. What we want to see is each individual light where it's got this frost, so it just, you know, it just spreads out the light like crazy. As you can see, it's very, very spread out. So what I want to do is I want to get these down so that we only see the individual LEDs. And I actually have a part coming. It's not here yet, but it's very simple to switch out. There's 4 Allen screws right here, and these are removable, and I can do it using my my LTC screwdriver because it does have a bit that matches. And you just take this one plate off, and then you have access to this piece. Come on. So you can remove this outer plate, and you've got access to this lens. So, and then you can just pop it out and throw in the replacement, put this plate back on, and you're done. That's that mod, but I'm not doing that right now. What I'm going to be doing is addressing the direction. So, of course, in my previous video, I mentioned that, you know, it might require reversing the PCB, but because of this light, this light's on the same PCB, and so is this indicator here. Yeah, that would be fine because you could flip that around. This plate can get spun around and put right back on. That might be the easiest way to do it. But that would require breaking this all open, taking off this front panel, which is that panel, and I don't want to do that. So, recently discovered an easier way to do it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to basically do that. And what that involves is I'm going to shut it off. So that's shut off. And then I'm going to remove the canister, the part that actually holds the ghost. So just hold this back. That breaks free. There we go. The main trap portion go off to the side, and we're going to be dealing with this portion right here. So, just this portion. So what we have to do is we flip it over, remove the batteries from the battery compartment, and there's 8 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what we need in order to do that is we need to pop these little doohickeys out. I don't know if you'll be able to see it all that well. I'll try to do a little better. There. I'll use this one right here. So these are screw plugs, cap things, whatevers. These are all whatever, just to kind of hide the fact that there's a screw there. Now, on things such as the neutrino wand, these things are solid, and they're pressure fit, and, you know, because they're tapered, and they really squish in there. Now, on this, on the trap and on the PKE meter, which I have over there, there's actually half of the work is already done. These caps have holes in them. So I happen to have exactly what we need, but it's inside of here. I have to dig it out, so give me 1 second. Okay, I got it, and that is this. it's just a drywall screw. That's it. It's just a little drywall screw. And so what we do is we take this and we feed it into that hole in the center, and we just go in just a little bit. We don't want it to be really, we don't want to gouge the thing out. We just want to have enough in there so that the threads bite onto the plastic, because then these can just pop out. Just like that. And there it is. Then you unscrew it. And then of course you've got a little burr here. So what you can do is, if you happen to get or have some 1,000 or even better 2,000 grain sandpaper, take that, you just rub that onto it and remove that burr. And then you never noticed that was taken out. So I'm going to pop these out right now. And these pop out relatively easy. So yeah, they're pressure fit, but it's not an immense amount of pressure. Okay, there, those are all out. So what I have to do now is, we got to remove the batteries because we don't want to deal with the electricity that's going on in here. So let's remove those. Alright, so got all the batteries removed. I've got all of the caps removed. Got those off to the side here. So now we need to get down into there and grab those screws. Will I be able to reach it with my ratcheting screwdriver? Looks like I will. Okay, I've got all the screws here. So, put those off to the side, and then this pops right off, just like that. See? And you can see the insides. So there we go. Now, from here, you don't necessarily need to take off the front panel or anything like that, because what we're dealing with is on this board right here. So, I'm going to look in there for a second, and I should probably grab my light just so I can see it a little better. So let me grab my light. Alright, I've got my light here. Ta-da! Got my light. So here's that board. This is the controller board for essentially the entire trap. And so if I take a look in there, I'm just looking to make sure, see where everything is, so that when I put it back in, everything's going to look alright. I've got a couple wires. That screw post, for that screw post right here. Let's see, we've got a ribbon cable. It goes on the inside. We've got a positive negative wire that goes on the inside. And there's nothing that goes on the outside. In fact, nothing can go outside because there is material that goes the entire length of the post. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to take out this board right here. So I'm going to do that real quick. And how we do that is basically just sliding it out. So we take that, put it off to the side, because of course it's going to try to pull it. Alright. And while you're doing this, you want to be careful that you're not pulling on or putting on too much tension to the wires going around. So just want to do that. I am actually going to throw my headlamp on so I don't have to give up a hand to hold the flashlight. Alright, I'm back with my headlamp, so on it goes. And this should actually provide a little more light for you guys. Alright, so I've got the board here. Just want to be careful not to yank anything that I shouldn't be. Alright, we got a little bit of a catch on the corner of the PCB here. So I just want to kind of influence it to come out. There we go. Alright, so what we want is we want this. We want this connector out. So if I can get that around like so, and we can see we've got all these other wires in the way and stuff like that. Yeah, so how do we do this where it's a little more free? We'll kind of bend that out of the way, and then what some people have been discovering is that there's glue of a sort, and you know, what we want is not to have the glue. So I'm looking it over and I am not seeing any glue, so this should be fairly simple to remove. These are like mini connectors in computers and stuff like that. It's just a particular connector, and you just have to get the angle of it just right so that you can actually remove it. We've got all these other wires in the way. Let's see if we can push these up. We've got glued wires. Alright, so try to get that out of the way. And let's see. It's very gummy, so, but it can be cut using an X-Acto knife, let's say. So I've got one in my drawer. I'm going to go grab it. Okay, I've got my hobby knife, X-Acto knife, however you want to call it. There it is. Woohoo! And I am going to, it's like right there. And it does, you know, it's very stretchy, very gummy. So I am just going to gently saw that up off of there. There, it's free. Alright, so now let's see. I'm going to put the cap back on that, because last year I stabbed my finger. It took a week and a half to heal. So now we need to get this cable out of here, and what might make it simpler is if you remove these connectors. So, and of course, you know, it's you know, it's computer electronics, so you want to be very gentle when you're pulling these. And these go with the red on the left and the black on the right. They are keyed, so they do only go on one way. So this is where I want to bring out a special thing I got. I've got a package of really fancy tweezers. These are really interesting. Durable stainless steel construction, light tension, perfect for various hobby applications. This was purchased within the past, I don't know, I want to say 5 years, maybe a little longer, at like either Big Lots or Ocean State Job Lot. I haven't had a purpose for it, so it's just been sitting here, so I haven't had a need for it. So what I'm going to do is take a moment to remove the staple that's holding it shut. So I removed the staple. There was a staple here to keep this back from moving, because, you know, people would steal it. So let's see, which one of these would be good for this? Probably we'll use this one. It's almost kind of like a little pincher grabber doodad thing. So just do that, get that on there, squeeze that down, because what we're looking to do is to get, you know, the even, you know, spread out force. Get it even so it grabs it. That might not work out. Let's try this way. Come on. There we go. So, grabbing it from the sides. We're trying to, at least. Get out of there. Alright, that one's easy with my fingers. This one's a little smaller, might be a little easier. There we go. Alright. Alright, so those are disconnected. So now I've got full access to this guy right here. So I want to get that off of there. Usually, you would grab it from the sides, but that is in there nice and tight. So, of course, I'm better as a righty, so I'm going to turn this, grab a hold of that, and there we go. Alright, that's popped off. So there we are. Alright. So what I'm going to do here is I am spreading these apart because there are 5 wires on here that we don't want to touch. We do not want to touch the red one on this end, the 4 directly next to it, and the very last one. So we got to keep that in mind. So, and we want to switch this around, or turn it around, because what we want to do is we want to remove everything from the 5th one in from the red to the second to last one on the far end. And on this connector, you know, there's a little bit of a clamp or a clippy kind of thing that it would work best to release that clamp to allow that wire to be pulled out. So why are we doing that? Well, what we're doing is these are all currently in the orientation of that right to left animation. So what we want to do is we want to reverse it. So basically it means we're going to be reversing these wires. So basically, if I can get my thing there, we're going to be moving this guy over to here, this guy over there, and so on. And basically we're taking everything and we're just going like that with it. Yeah. Live long and prosper. So we're basically take it like that and flip it like that. And that's just basically placing these, flipping the placements, and that's pretty much it. So, like I was saying, this connector has little catches. So what I want to do as I put these back on so I can see better is I want to use, basically I've got my little knife here, my little pocket knife, and yeah, when the light goes away I'm looking up at the camera just to make sure my angle's good. What I've seen a lot of people do is use their hobby knives to get those open, but to be on the little safer side, use something that's a little more dull. I'll use my pocket knife. I'll use the tip because, you know, I can go like this and I don't cut myself. Whereas if I did that on the hobby knife, I probably would. So let's see, we need to go, okay, I need that, 1, 2, 3, 4, that guy. So the 5th one in, and there is glue there, so I am suffering from that, so make sure, I'm just making sure that I'm using my knife, go in between the wires, and to basically cut away any of that. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to help it out a little bit by splitting the wires a little bit. So let's see, that's that one. So I'm going to split that down a little bit. So these are now split down to here. Now the reason why I'm splitting them is that these are very, very fine, very fragile, and I don't want to risk cutting them or anything like that or tearing them apart, so that's why I'm doing that. So now what I want to do is remove these. If I can pull that out a little bit, get that bent up a little bit, get it a little easier to grab. I might have to use my hobby knife to get at that. Here we go. So we have a nice little mess of loose wires. So what we have to do now is put them in the opposite orientation, essentially. And I keep going to the right. So what I'm going to do is, well, we're going to put them in opposite, and you know, figuring it out is easy because it's linked up with the ribbon. So you just basically we're going to be flipping them like that and putting them in the opposite order. So why don't we take a moment and we'll do that. Alright, so what we need to do now is figure out, okay, so I need to get these out of the way. So I'm going to go from closest to you to closest to me. So basically from you to the red. So I want the first one, I'm going to put it in this one. Now these ones are keyed, so they do only go in one way. Slide this back down in. Make sure we've got good angle, making sure the wires are inside the post versus the outside. So I need to use my knife just to kind of help guide it a little bit, because we don't want the screws to pinch the wires. And there we go. Alright. So now we can make sure we've got our space. Got that, and then we just want to be looking down with the light to make sure that the screws aren't going to interfere with anything. If you need, just give it a little push just to make sure everything is flush and it's feeling good. So now we're going to be doing a little test, so I'm not going to be putting all of them in one go because that might be a mistake. We just want to have this thing held in place for the moment for this test. Get this in here. Yeah, do that. And then we'll get our batteries back in. Let's get this back on. We'll go ahead and we'll get that going. Now, alright. So let's get that out of the way, that out of the way. Bring this back in. Here comes the test. There we go. So they are going left to right like they should be. Alright, so let's open the trap. There it is. We'll close it. Let's simulate hitting the pedal. And that's performing pretty well. But that one's still on. Huh. But this is behaving normally. That's behaving normally. Turn it on. Okay. And it's animating from this one. Okay. Something's interesting. That one's still on. Why? Gotta figure it out. Alright, excuse me while I figure this out. Alright, I've got it figured out. I had to go back and look at my reference material, and yeah, I had it wrong, so my apologies for that. It isn't the red and then 4, it's just the 4. So, 4 was correct. 4 from where was not correct. So, it's just the straight up 4. That's why that 1 on the end was still lighting up and out of sequence. So, I've got it all straightened out. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get this back in there. I'll get this button back up, and we'll give it another test. Alright, I've already done it, and I'm all back, and there we go. And they are going from left to right completely. Got that correct one in its spot. So it's, forget from this orientation. But they are going in the correct way. So, quiet Slimer. Alright, so there's that. Give that, open it up. And this is going from right to left. So that's the way it should be when it's like this, you know, in maintenance mode. Close that up. I should go back. That's the way it should be. Let's open the trap as if we're catching a ghost. And there it is. And there we go. Excuse me. All right. Get the volume up all the way. Let's open up. Catch a ghost. It's working good. Close the trap. There we go. And then there we go. All right. So now that is behaving the way it should be. From left to right. Just like that. Okay. So now that that's going on, we need to switch out this lens. So that'll be next. Okay. So here we go. All right. Now this next part is to switch out this lens cover diffuser thingy because it's wrong, and it just got delivered. This here, this is the item itself. So why don't we get this open? That. I bought this off of Etsy for approximately $11. So, they taped it to the package slip. Isn't that cool? Okay. Let's see. So it is. Looks like it's just an invoice printout. And yep, I bought it for $11.24. Shipping was free, so that was nice. And this is essentially it. I'm not going to bother with fiddling with the Ziploc on this thing, so I'm just going to cut it right open. And here we go. So, here's the item itself. It might be a little fuzzy, but my apologies. So this is just a simple drop-in replacement. And it looks pretty good. It does look frosted. Might be better, might not be. If I don't like it, I can always get another one. Not a problem. Okay, so what we want to do is switch out the bit on my screwdriver. Let's see, it's that one there. Trying to remember which one it was. It might have been this one. Let me see. Nope, that's too big. This one? Nope, that's too big. I know I've got it here. I've already tested it. Of course, going through them. How about you? That's the one. Got it. Okay. Alright, so for this part, all we have to do is undo these four they're hex bolts or hex screws. So put that in there, make sure we're going in the right direction. Get that loose, and then I'll use the knurling on here. Okay, there we go. And the the plate popped right off. This is just plastic. So there's that diffuser right there. So to give a brief demonstration of it, we'll power it up. You see that? And let's get this turned down. So all we have to do is just pop this out. I'll use my little pocket knife here. I'll just pop that like that. And there it is. And I'll take the replacement and I'll pop that in. Come on. And there we go. See that? That is a lot better. I like that so much more. I might actually just keep this, because with that other one, I'll shut it off for the time being. You know, the individual segments are twice as wide, 75% to twice as wide than they need to be. Whereas this one, it's pretty much exact. And you can see the individual LEDs. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 10 LEDs. This is a 15 segment, which is fine. Stuff like that. But the animation comes out so much better on this thing. So do that, and let's get this portion back on. There we go. Alright, so it's on completely. Let's see it with it on. Oh, that is so much better. I might actually just keep it like this. I know that there's a guy, he's got an Etsy store, but he is out on, he's got an Etsy store, he's on YouTube, because he does make the stuff, he 3D prints it, and other things. And the one he has for this, it's not smoky like these ones, it's practically clear, which is a really good thing. I like that very much. But I'm very happy with this. So I'd say this is actually a really good outfit. So let me do that. So that's maintenance mode. That seems fine. And so close that. We'll do our trap impression. And there it is. I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, now let's get you turned back up. That came out really good. I partly missed it, so I'm going to do it one more time. Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot. Alright, we'll wait for that to stop. Now let's do that little monster mode with the countdown and the Morse code. Okay, that's pretty good. That works just fine. All right, excellent. So that's looking really nice. I like that a lot. It looks a lot more sequential, a lot clearer, a lot more authentic. This one is going to go back in the box because, you know, I'm not going to throw it out, you know, to have the original parts. Collectability, value, there you go. Awesome. Slimer's happy. And just so that you can see it without this LED on, so let's just do that. You can see it. And there you go. All right. All right, there we are. So that is 2 mods done to my Ghost Trap. So I've got the LED sequence going in the proper direction from left to right versus right to left, and I got that lens, the frost lens, switched out to something that's a little more accurate and is a lot more pleasing to look at or to see, so that it's not so toy-like, more authentic to the actual prop used in the films. So there we go. That was a bunch of fun to do, and you know, I got to use my nice tweezers. I'm going to keep that end piece, and I'm going to keep it right on the end there. And, you know, keep that in the doodad thing, the casey kind of thing. And get this back in. Yeah, I'll take care of that after. It's that really loose plastic, whatever. Since these are going to be used so infrequent, I'll keep them in the case that they came in, instead of loose in a drawer someplace. I may change my mind on that. Don't quote me on it. So there we go. So that was 2 mods on my Ghost Trap, and I am so happy on that. I mean, the animation on that, the thing is awesome. Look at that. So fantastic. So, yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Skál, and we'll see what's going on with that. So in the meantime, don't look directly into the trap.